Here's how to export in DaVinci Resolve, step by step. Now, when you're done editing your video, go to the bottom, click on the last tab, this rocket icon. This is the deliver page. Now, go to the left side, click on custom export. First, you can choose the file name. So what do you want to name the video? So I'll just write my first video. Then for location, you can choose where do you want to export the video. So I'll click on browse. I'll choose my desktop and I'll save it to my desktop. Next, for render, there's single clip. So this means you export the entire timeline into one video file. So everything is merged together into a single video. And if you choose individual clips, that means you export into separate videos. So instead of getting one merged video, each clip will be exported individually. So if you have 5 clips on your timeline, then you will get 5 separate files. That's why it's individual clips. Now I want to export all of this as one video file, so I'll choose single clip. Next, let's look at video. Make sure you check export video over here. Next, you can choose the video format. So these are all the options that you can choose. So the most common, most popular video format will be MP4. Then you can choose the codec. These are the options. H.264 is the most common. It has the best compatibility. Most devices can play H.264. So H.264 is the safest choice. Plus, if you're uploading to YouTube, YouTube officially recommends uploading videos with H.264. So in this example, I will choose H.264. Then for encoder, you can leave it as auto. For network optimization, you want to check this. Next, for resolution, the default is timeline resolution. If you want to export your video at a different resolution, then you can choose from here. Then for frame rate, you can leave it as the default, which is timeline frame rate. Next, for encoding profile, you can change this to high. Then for keyframes, you can leave it as automatic. For frame reordering, you want to check this. For preset, you can choose quality. Next, for rate control, you can choose quality. This is the simplest and easiest way. From here, you just choose what quality you want. You have best, high, medium, and so on. Usually, a higher quality means a bigger file size. So if you want a smaller file size, then you can choose a lower quality. If you want the best quality, then go with best. Next, let's talk about audio. So when you click on audio, make sure that export audio is checked. For codec, you can go with AAC. For bitrate strategy, you can go with constant bitrate. Then for track data rate, you can leave it as 320 kbps. So from here, once you have set up all of the settings and you're ready to export the video, just go below, click on Add to Render Queue. Then when you look on the right side, it will show up over here as a job. Go below, click on Render All, and it will start to export your video. When it's done, you can right-click, then click on Open File Location, and I can play it. So that's how to export in DaVinci Resolve. Next, let me show you how to save your export settings into a preset so you don't need to change the settings every time. Go to the top right corner, click on the 3 dots. Click on Save as New Preset. Then you enter a preset name. So just write something that you remember. So maybe I'll say 1080p. Next, you can choose a preset icon. So just choose anyone you like. And you can also choose to add to quick export. Then we can click on Save. And now we can see our settings is now saved in the preset over here in the left. So from here, if I choose any other presets from here and I change anything over here, at any time I can go back and I can click on this and I will get back all of the settings that I saved.